So let's start off with an introduction. I'm sure people would love to know more about yourself, how you got into Web3, got to Exponential Fi. So what's your story?
My story is that I started in investment banking. I was part of the great financial crisis of 2008.
Okay.
I was on the floor there at Credit Suisse in the M&A desk, and really saw the frontier of finance as we build it and where things start to break. I really started to think about why do we have all these crises and so on. And so I was looking for more. I went to the World Bank to invest in frontier markets as well, in infrastructure in Mozambique and do projects like there. That was really a great opportunity for me to understand risk and how finance is built from the ground up. And so about 10 years later, I ended up looking into Bitcoin because I was looking for an inflation hedge and gold was not doing the job.
And what year was that?
That was 2016.
Okay.
So I was just into like that whole like clash between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash on the block size. And I was like really surprised by how it unfolded. I was also looking into just how the ecosystem was growing. And I basically was buying the top on that bull market. And after that, I really got into it. Really, it was a religious shift, a philosophical shift in a sense. And I tried to get everybody around me to buy more Bitcoin. And as we were doing that on Bitcoin and Ethereum, we have two stories basically. Maybe Solana was there as well in 2008 and 2019. 2018 and 2019, it was very interesting because after 2 years, people were like seeing great returns, like almost in the 5x by 2020, and they were looking for yield because they were there passive for 4 years.
Sure.
And so that got us to a lot of people asking me to invest in BlockFi, Celsius, Voyager. Of course, I couldn't like understand where the yield was coming from. We did not. So thankfully, I made sure that no one puts more than 10% of their portfolio there. That was like my rule because I did not understand it. But with DeFi coming in, it was more transparent. You could see like everything on the chain. You could just like do your research and actually understand where do you see in terms of risk. And the part that is like trustlessness of like trusting math instead of trusting a counterparty or a human. I really love that because it has the same view as AI or robotics in terms of productivity for humans. So I really started to push that, but Exponential came in because we need to make it accessible. When you think about it, to get access to these pools on DeFi and get DeFi yield, it's really, really hard. I had 12 people in the fund of the crypto. I got one to invest in a pool, and everybody wanted the yield. So it's really hard to get people to use people who are normal to actually get yield on DeFi, and so that's why we built one-click invest with Exponential.
Interesting. How do you make it one click? What is Exponential if you could boil it down in a nutshell for people?
Yeah. So Exponential is doing two things right now, but the mission is to make DeFi accessible. And in order to do that, we have to work on the content first. And when you think about that, it's like, where are all the yield opportunities in DeFi? And we bring them into one platform. We explain them. We do all the learning part, and we build the risk rating, which is like the most fundamental, important part, I think, that was missing in DeFi. You had the yield, but you didn't understand what was the risk. So we built a holistic risk framework that is being more and more adopted by the DeFi community and is actually the best risk framework that there is there. It's like, because we come from TradFi in the team and we bring in like the rationality of Wall Street into DeFi. So that's the first thing that we do. The business, the real business is into doing the one-click invest, which is like an investment platform where you don't have to use a wallet, where we have everything integrated, where you don't have to bridge your funds, you don't have to deal with any of the complexities of DeFi or crypto, actually. For example, some pools are going to ask you to have a specific type of ETH to put it in, WETH, for example, or WSTETH. we are going to be agnostic of the type of ETH. Or if you have Bitcoin and you want to invest into a pool with SBTC on Arbitrum, we are going to do all the bridges to move all that one-to-one for you into the right pool. So anything that's complicated that normal humans would not need to understand, we take out.
So and a one-stop shop for people.
It's one-stop shop.
And then is this platform solely on, desktop, computer, on your phone? Or how can you interact with it as a user?
So it is a website, and so it is mobile first, and available on desktop as well. So we built it in a way that is like as flexible as possible. I have it as a button on my iPhone. I basically made it a Safari homepage, and we made even the navigation possible with that kind, so that we don't even need to use a back button, because everything is like made for as if it was an app.
Do you want to turn it into an app at some point?
Yes,
Sounds like a good natural progression.
Absolutely. We are just 12 people in the team, and
so young team.
So heavy lifters, and we don't want to enlarge the scope too much too fast. So right now we're doing it in a way that is sustainable.
Okay. And what are some of the things you can do? Lending, market making, staking, bridging. Like, is that kind of the extent of it, or does it go beyond that?
So our philosophy is to start with like yield that is sustainable and yield that makes sense. And so we think that there are 4 types of things, 4 jobs that blockchains can actually do even better than humans or counterparties. And so one of them is like verifying transaction. That's basically a blockchain work, and you can get yield with getting the gas fees or the transaction fees that are being paid. The other one is bridging, is moving value from one chain to another. You actually need that liquidity to be there, and liquidity providers get the yield as commissions. Same thing with market making for exchanging, swapping assets, and then you have lending, which is basically getting interest on from borrowers. And so these jobs are very interesting, and we think they are sustainable. We think they are simple to understand. We think that, and so we make them available on DeFi. We are going to look into everything that comes from RWAs and things like that in the future, but it is still in the frontier, and we don't want people to take risks that they will regret in the future.
So what assets are available as of right now? Is it relegated to certain chains, or are you guys open to anything, just undergoing risk assessment first?
So it is multi-chain. So we rate everything, and we look at all the EVMs today already, the Bitcoin chain as well for funding. If you want to fund with Bitcoin, you can fund with Bitcoin and invest in Bitcoin yield on EVMs. We also are launching Solana next week, which is like pretty interesting as well. I think there you have like much more the altcoin world and the memecoin world. All of these are also very interesting. We did not start with Solana for a very simple reason, which was like it is for a more advanced audience, and we want to go really from like the newbie to the most advanced. Although we're coming from the advanced side as DJs.
Like, can people stake or interact with their meme coins as well? Because I know that's really popular right now for a lot of people, and meme coins are very volatile in both a good and bad way.
Yes.
This invest how you choose to invest. Do your own due diligence, people. But I'm sure that they'd love to probably earn yield on that as well, right? Not having as strong of a guarantee that it's going to perform well in the future. Sometimes it's nice in the short term to actually generate a yield as well. So like, you guys are very friendly to meme coins and degens coming on the platform. And
absolutely. So when we look at the platform today, 30% of investors are on Ethereum, 30% are on Bitcoin, and 30% are on stablecoins. So very simple strategies, and 10% are doing things with either altcoins or multiple assets, like try crypto, for example. So it is very interesting to see it as simply as that. When you look at meme coins, you can have today a 200% yield on a Popcat Solana pool. So that would be basically market making Popcat. You would have impairment loss, and so if Popcat pops, you end up with like a potential impairment loss versus Solana. When there's impairment loss, it's not too bad usually. Like for example, if you have PopCat that doubles versus Solana, it would be around 6% increment loss in a Uni V2 type of pool. So it's not bad, but it is there. And so with things that are not correlated, like PopCat and Solana, not necessarily correlated actually, we want to make sure that people understand what increment loss is. And so we don't want to put something that is investable before we are able to really make sure that people know what they're doing. So you may see 200%, but you may lose actually a lot in it as well.
What about fees on the platform? Are there any fees associated with gas payments, with Exponential Fi itself when you stake or unstake or unlock tokens? What should users expect?
So going back to our design principles, we thought that we try to explain gas to users. And new users who are new to crypto would not understand that easily. And also just the experience of like investing in a pool, and then when you try to get it out, you see like a $400 gas fee. Happened to me, happened to many people on the earning curve on Ethereum. That's like a really bad experience. And so what we did is like we took out the gas fee completely. We take care of it. So the way we do it is that we had to bring it into a fixed cost for us. What we do is that we do a trading cycle every day. So every day we aggregate all the orders of all the users, and let's say at 5 p.m. Eastern time, we push the button to go on the trading cycle. So the trading cycle is basically doing all the trades for everybody on chain, and so there is only one on-chain transaction for all the people who are investing in the same direction. So that becomes very interesting because it's a fixed fee, which is basically for every pool that we cover, we have to pay about $40 a day for those transactions, and we divide them across all the users, and so we charge 20 basis points for that. We charge 20 basis points for all the trades, which is pretty amazing. It's pretty good, and we're still profitable, which is like very, very interesting when you see like that. Exchanges are charging 60 basis points. You realize that there is like a lot of profit margin there, and so the profit of the others is our business. It's where our margin come in. It's our disruption theory, and so that's where we are excited to go.
Awesome. Sometimes with platforms like this, it can be very tricky to account for all the different moving parts and pieces, especially if people are staking, unstaking, and lending and market making at a very rapid pace, trading back and forth. And in particular for things like taxes, do you guys have like tools or third parties that can integrate maybe some APIs, different ways for people to kind of manage that from a tax perspective?
Yeah. So everything in the platform is one-to-one at the 18th decimal. So it's like it goes to the 18th decimal. It's like perfectly matching everywhere. Otherwise, it freezes. And so we would typically like spend a lot of time making sure that at the 18th decimal everything is right. In terms of taxes are extremely hard for users, especially if you go into a pool that has like, for example, 2 or more assets. And so I experienced that personally. And also like there is like this question about whether this is a capital gain or an income question. So it's hard to solve that because we cover 90 jurisdictions.
Very different places, yeah.
Yes. So what we do is we give you precise information about everything that you do. And so we came up with something very innovative, which is we account for the lot, which becomes a tax lot. The lot, every time you invest in, we consider that a lot. And so when you're selling, you can choose the lot at which you're selling. So if you are in the US, you typically want to wait until it becomes a long-term capital gain so that it doesn't count as an income for you. And we do all of that, and every beginning of the year, early January, within the first 2 or 3 weeks of January, we send you a report which is a tax report that you can use in order to file your taxes in a very easy manner.
What are you guys doing at Permissionless? What's your main objective to get out of this event?
So at Permissionless, we had this interesting side events where we actually try to explain how DeFi is really an amazing source of yield. And so we had this really a good presentation that we did yesterday and we're doing today as well, which is because we had an overflow of people, where we are explaining where the yield comes from, all the yield opportunities, how to assess risk in DeFi, how to do your own research, how to choose your pools if you're more of a degen and so on, how to use Exponential actually to find all the pools, because we cover thousands of pools on the platform in terms of like research and so on. And we make about the 25 best available. And we explain how to choose this. And all of that was super interesting. We had 90 minutes of questions yesterday, just back and forth. And so, yeah, that's our main objective, is to really make DeFi yield at the center, help spearhead the DeFi renaissance, and get people to look back at yield on top of crypto when it makes sense, and the yield on top of crypto when there is no counterparty risk, when you have the transparency of DeFi is really a powerful tool for personal finance. A lot of people in our platform are paying their rent with this, and have sustainable returns when the market is washing a lot of people.
When it's bad. It's been a rough bear market.
It is.
Had a lot of false bull flags the last year and a half.
Yes. So a lot of people are basically got this false start with the ETFs. The reality is that we moved from 20K to 60K last year, about a year ago, for 6 months. And now we have been in this like mid-market for 6 months, and we feel bad. The reality is that you just got like an early start, and now like we're waiting for that bull market to come back. It's probably going to take a little bit of time. And
when do you think it'll come back? That's the $1 million question for everybody right now.
Of course, you like, this is a totally personal opinion, but I think I really believe in the max pain theory. So I think that there is a probability that we will get more pain because we got too sweet a deal in the beginning of the year. And so everybody's hoping for the election. I think obviously the difference between Trump and Kamala
seems to have quite an impact.
Yes, seems to be important in terms of perspective. But beyond that, just the fact that you would know what is going to happen should also help. So I think that starting in January, it may start slow. And my perspective is that we would probably go to above 100K, like everybody thinks the same, but I don't think that we would necessarily get more than 150, but that's by the end of the cycle. But that's just a personal perspective.
Awesome. Well, if someone wants to get started with Exponential, what should they do? Just go to the website and start there?
I think, yeah, you can go on the website and just start there. We also have like a team of like really dedicated people. We all get on calls with anyone who wants to give us feedback and look into how to onboard. So we have added a button that is like next to Grow My Crypto. You can just talk to someone in the team, and yeah, you can get to our Calendlies very easily.
You guys have community as well, where people can interact, Discord, Telegram?
We're mostly on Twitter. We have had a Discord for quite some time as well, but we like Twitter a lot.
Well, Mehdi, thank you so much for taking the time today. I know you're busy, probably running around doing a lot of stuff. So thanks for making the time and talking a bit about Exponential Fi. I think people will find it very helpful, and I think you guys got a great platform. I'm going to use it myself.
Thank you. Yeah, excited about that, and thank you for this. It was a real pleasure.
Likewise, pleasure's all mine.
Thank you.